voters registration, working towards solving the issue of voter apathy. My name is Daniel Abu, and you're welcome to the Good Morning Nigeria, Good Morning Gombe show. Viewers, today we have in the studio with us the Resident Electoral Commissioner of Gombe, Umar Idris. The last time he was here, he came up with some very serious facts and figures which we are not too comfortable to us and to the viewers in terms of the issues of voter apathy. And then he rolled out some blueprints and gave us his plans, how he wants to work towards solving that issue. And today he's here with us in the studio to tell us the consolidation and how he has worked towards getting the issues solved. Good morning. Well, Resident Inec Electoral Commissioner, Umar Idris, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dan.
And to us in the studio also too, we have a vice co-presenter, Ibrahim Abuta, to do justice to the issue also too. Ibrahim, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
Welcome. Sir, the last time you were here, you rolled out some facts and figures,
yes,
which were not comfortable at times, at all in terms of the issue of voter apathy. In the Northeast, Gombe was only above 1 or 2 states, then we rolled out figures. And then you gave us your blueprints, how you were going to, what you intend doing, and we're going to work towards ameliorating the issue. And today you are now back, and we hope and believe that you have must have achieved some milestones.
Yes. Thank you very much, Daniel. Let me correct that my name is Saad Umar Idris, not Said. Be that as it may, remember last time I came here and in the program I also complained that we need to be much higher than where we were in terms of voter registration. The apathy really is not voter apathy in terms of voter apathy for voting. It's voter apathy for registration, really. So really is registration apathy, not voter apathy in terms of voting. We rolled out some plans, and I think the first level, which is phase 1, the figures were low, and we complained. And I think I told you here that I was going to call a stakeholder. We did at the state level. We rolled out our plans to improve on the numbers. Commission in its wisdom approved a rotation of the registration, voter registration at the RA level, which is the ward level. I was very clear when I came here that it was going to be for 50 days, 5 days per RA, and we rolled out that, having at the beginning though, having done a stakeholder, and we called the EOs to go and do stakeholder at the local Gombawa. We did all this. We told everybody clearly for transparency and accountability. We told everybody the number of days where we are going to do the rotational basis continuous voter registration, and for how many days. So that is history, because we have already started since February 2nd. Okay. Right now we are 10 days into the 50 days rotation, which started 2nd February. Of course, the 10 days is a significant improvement. Let me say that on Wednesday I undertook a visitation, monitoring visitation, to go and see for myself what is happening in terms of the continuous voter registration at the RA, which is the ward level. I took all my heads of departments. I was in Kamara Primary School, which we started with here in Gombe LGA, where the continuous voter registration for that RA was happening. I was in Bongo Primary School in Akko local government. That was Wednesday. The numbers were very huge, and I was very happy. You can see I was smiling more than
yes.
I was, so the figures have improved. We will always be Oliver Twist. We will always come ask for more. We'll ask people to come out more and more and register, because the numbers we are thinking, we are targeting that Gombe State should have a voters register of nothing less than 2 million at least. we are targeting that. We don't know. It's a tall order, but it's achievable, really. We don't know. The numbers will speak, not me. And the facts will speak, not me. So I think, in addition to what I said, on Thursday, which was yesterday, I emptied the entire Annex State Office, the whole heads of department. I took them. We went to Bagan, the South RA in Bindem, where the rotation was happening. I was physically there. From there, we moved to Guani, Shinga and Wade Ward, which was happening at Guani itself, in Yamal to Deba. From there, from Yamal to Deba, we actually went down as far as Dabamfulani RA, which is actually in Kwani. So we were there with my heads of department to physically assess and see what is happening, and I was very happy. A lot of improvement, a lot of people coming out. But let me also tell you that the women are still leading the pack. I said it. The statistics speaks, and the women are actually leading, and the youth as well. So I think I'm a much happier person now than I was when I came.
Yeah, I can see that from your body language. Yes. I want to know, this drive, this success over there, was it towards new voters card registration? Because the last time you came, you also rolled out some statistics of those that have registered already but weren't coming up to collect their voters card. Because even yesterday, somebody asked me that too, that is he supposed to go to your office to collect his card because he's still using the former slave to him, or are you guys going to bring it to the world level? I told him I'll get back to him.
Yes, let me answer from the last question. Yes, we actually took all the cards to the area level. But actually the first complaint was that both the registration and the distribution of PVC should be actually taken closer to the people. Because we did exactly what we did, because we want people to collect those PVCs. And I will give you briefly. Let me check the statistics of the last 3 days, from the 9th to 11th of February. 11th is just on Wednesday, as early as Wednesday. I'm a researcher, I'm an academic. I like statistics, I love statistics. Figures. I love figures. They are the basis of every research. Between 9th and 11th, which is the 3 days, we have a total number of registration of 4,136, just for 3 days. In that, we have 1,979 female and 2,157 male. So women are still leading, not only in Gombe, but even at the national level. So now let me go to total transfer in those 3 days. 287 for female and 324 for female, and male 287. Now total we have 611 for incident, that is transfer issues. Now we have 353 for male in terms of the incidents and 280 female. Total 633. Now PVC collection, to the question you came, 259 was collected in the last 3 days, and 205 female collected their own. So in terms of PVC collection in these statistics I gave, men actually collected more than the female. Total number of registration actually in that 3 days is 446. Relatively 446 is a small number, but if you look at it within the context of having done that in only 3 days,
yes,
it's actually very, very good
compared to the last time.
Let me give a specific example of Shangong local government. Shangong was returning your registrations in the first phase for some days, but now that we devolved to the RA level, to the ward level, still the numbers are not as appreciable as we wanted, but it has picked up seriously. And what we even said, in terms of where we call in Inec blind spots, where there is no good network, what we advise the EOs is call your stakeholders and do not, I keep saying it to my EOs, do not do anything in wraps, open everything, be transparent, be honest, be just tell people what you want to do. And I think there's no issues. So we need to be transparent and upfront and tell people what we want to do. I said if there's a blind spot, the law provides that we can move the registration from one RA to the other, but it must be within that local government. And even then, even when we are allowed to do that, I keep telling the electoral officers that look, tell all the stakeholders in that RA that because there is no network here, you we are going to move that to the next RA, certainly within the local government. The law does not allow us to carry the registration from one RA to another RA in another local government. We can't do that. The law does not allow us to do that. But we can take the registration from one RA, which is one ward, to another ward within the same local government. And since the law provides that we can do that, and we are not breaking any laws, I said even before you do that, tell your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Security agencies, traditional rulers, religious leaders, CSOs, lead the media. Be upfront, tell everybody what you want to do. And I think that was my strategy. My strategy is I've started with a stakeholder, tell everybody what we want to do. We did that at the local government level. And now that I'm speaking to everybody, we are open and transparent. We are telling people what we are doing. And at every point, I physically will go to the RA itself and see. And based on the statistics I gave you now, we had a lot of improvement. And we hope that by the end of that 50 days rotation at the RA level, honestly, the numbers will pick up. Even when you look at the national statistics, which was released by the commission those 2 days ago, Gombe has improved. Yes. Of course, we didn't get to where we want. If you want to see me smiling and smiling a lot, I want the numbers to pick up, and to pick up very, very well.
Ibrahim Audu, you said women are leading at the front of you. Absolutely. What do you think will be the cause of that?
Absolutely.
Mr. Dan, it's like you know I'm going to ask that question because you have studied it very well. Most of my friends are women, both kindergarten, the child, bad, babes, teenagers. I prefer mingling with me because we call them immediate parents. Men are always out there trying to see how they can take care of younger ones, middle ones, and even the elderly ones. Women are always at home trying to see how they cater and carry the children. Now, due to poverty, abject poverty in this country, small amount will change the mindset of a woman. That is how most women, especially those that are mature, especially those that are from the rural areas that are going through trauma of poverty.
What are you insinuating? Are you insinuating that they are being paid to come and register?
Let me finish. If you look at dicey-ness of politics in Nigeria, and you look at what is trending, it's only God that will tell what will happen come 2027. As I'm talking to you now, take it or leave it. Some people are being coerced to come out and do this business. The chairman is saying to do it very well in order to buy. I'm not, it's alleged, but I've gone beyond reasonable doubt to prove it. I'm equally a researcher, just like Inec chairman said. He's a researcher. Based on my profession and the duty responsible, based on me to do. If there are some amount of numbers that are waiting for you to give them money before they will even go and do what the Inec chairman is waiting for people to come and do. You see, he said it's not voter apathy, but registration apathy. Like you know very well, some people have even discarded the choice, the desire, the will to go and do this, because even if I come out to do it, even if you come out to do it, therefore the who and who up there is now in this country, which you vividly.
Mr. Commissioner, sir, you kicked out this 50 days operation in 2nd February, and we are just 10 days into it today, and we're recording this highly remarkable achievement in just 10 days. Yes. And where are you thinking you find yourself after that 50 days? What level of achievement do you think?
First, let me respond to my friend Ibrahim. I totally disagree with what he said. First and foremost, on the issue of the numbers, why female are more than male in terms of registration. If I want to look at it, I think the best way to understand the reason, empirically speaking, will be to conduct a small survey to do that. Of course, that's an entirely different thing. I'm a researcher. I can't speak just like that until I have some empirical ways of deciding what is the reason. And the only way is to conduct a survey and decide why are women more than men. However, I think logically speaking, as a researcher and I think as an academic, If I need to explain that, what I can see is look at the economic situation. Men are actually the breadwinners. I would rather explain it that the men are out there busy looking for what their
I thought as much.
what their households will eat.
Yes.
While the registration is going on between 9 and 3 p.m. Most of the men are actually looking for daily bread. The women are at home. They have the time. They have the leisure of time to come and register. And in fact, some of the men will tell their women that, look, I'm going to the office, or I'm going to the farm, or I'm going to the market. Go and register. I will do that at my own convenience if I have time to do that. And it may even be explained that most of the men may have actually registered, and you don't need to register twice. So empirically speaking, I want to explain the numbers, the high numbers, to perhaps maybe the issue that women are really at home, they are not the breadwinners, but even more importantly, it will be that maybe women are getting more politically conscious. And honestly, I think that also is a way of explaining. So this issue of inducement for me really is, except if I have any empirical evidence to support, I don't think it will hold water for me. I think that's the way I look at it.
Yes, I think I'm of the same school of thoughts with you too. The men often have this idea of their own choice of extracurricular activities. They might prefer being Gidan local watching football, Arsenal and Man U match, or their palace.
It's not only women that I'm talking about. It cut across the two gender. But in most cases, you find women perpetrating in some of them. And there are youths that, in fact, who are the major unwanted stakeholders that go contrary to above even 50% of the law that negates election properly in Nigeria. It is youth. It is the ordinary youth in the village, ordinary that does not know what his right is, that will collect stipends to cause chaos. And it is you that if you ask now, how can you go and pick that ballot box? How can you go and pick that RF machine? How can you go and cause chaos to avert or to cause problem where maybe election can be postponed in a particular ward? It is a youth. So now I'm not saying it's only women, but there are some men that are into this.
Sorry, Dan, let me say that they are equally very good Nigerians. And I'll give you a small example to demonstrate what I'm telling you. Not only among female and male in Nigeria, even young children, there are good young children out there. Nigeria is not all that bad. It's not everybody in Nigeria is bad, that is evil. There are good Nigerians, there are God-fearing Nigerians. There are people that if you induce, you give money today, they will not collect it. And I will demonstrate this. I think 2 Fridays ago, I went to the mosque for Friday prayer. I prayed outside the mosque. There are carpets and mats spread out outside. After prayer, usually the young Agaji, the first aid group, the young children, some of them as young as 5, 6, 7, 8, were the ones that will actually fold all the mats and go and keep them inside the mosque. I was sitting down watching them doing all that throughout after Friday prayer. When they finished, I appreciated what they were doing. They were so committed, they were so passionate. All of them were just there doing this thing, packing, and so when they finished, I called all of them. We meeting with them, and I was removing 1,000 and giving all of them. And quite frankly, I was shocked. When I came to the last boy, the boy is not more than 3 years, dressed in first aid. I gave him 1,000, he declined, he refused to collect. He said, no, thank you. I said, no, I saw what you people were doing, assisting, doing some chores for the mosque, and it wasn't a payment for what you are doing. I just wanted to appreciate what you're doing. He said, no, he's doing it for Allah's sake. He refused to collect the 1,000. And some of the bigger ones, all of them collected the small one, the smallest 3-year-old. That boy refused to collect 1,000. And I followed them, I explained politely that, look, I'm not paying you, only Allah will pay you for what you are doing. I'm just giving you this as an encouragement. I have watched you, I pray here every time, and I watch you every Friday, willingly, happily, ably, packing all these carpets and going and putting them somewhere. that 3-year-old refused to collect that 1,000. I had to put it back in my pocket. I'm telling you, so this is a boy that is 3-year-old refusing to collect something for a service he rendered to the mosque, and he feels that if he collects that 1,000 naira from me, really probably it may affect the blessings that he will get from Allah. So he refused to. And I pleaded and begged that boy to collect that 1,000. He refused. There are equally good children. There are equally good women that you cannot bribe. There are equally good men that to me, if you give them money to do anything, whether registration or to vote or anything, they will not collect it. So Ibrahim, let's not think that every Nigerian is bad. We are not every Nigerian is bad. Of course, in every country, in every society, in every community, there are equally good and bad people. But I want to see that, God willing, Nigeria, we are going to get there. We are going to improve. The economic situation in this country will not remain like that forever. So as the economy grows, as we improve, God willing, I think even our orientation, even our attitude, even our culture, everything will improve.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, before we go for break, let me ask this question. You said you picked the entire staff of your...
Entire heads of department?
Yes, heads of department, not staffs?
No, entire heads of department.
Okay, I thought you said...
No, it cannot be.
Because as it is now, some people that want to believe in Gombe, that register in Aku local government, are still going to your office for this
registration. Yes.
Very good. So I thought you said the entire... There are queues. There are queues going on.
Let me explain the rotation, the way it works.
Okay.
We don't move all the machines to the rotation center. No. Still, at the state office, there is also a machine. Registration is still ongoing while we are registering at the RA level. Yes. And at the local government level, there is a machine doing registration while another machine is doing it at the RA level. So you can't leave the local government and do only RA. This is simultaneous operation. We are still equally doing it in the state office. We are doing it at the local government office, and we are developing with different machines also. And the personnel we have trained, we have enough staff. So those ones doing at the local government and the state office are different from those ones going to the RA to do it. So this thing is working simultaneously and seamlessly as well.
Yes, viewers, we have to go at break now. Please don't go away. We're back with more interesting discourse on this issue.
Independent National Electoral Commission will resume the recently suspended nationwide continuous voter registration exercise to register eligible citizens who have never registered before or turned 18 after the last registration exercise. From Monday, 5th of January 2026, intending registrants can visit the Inec voter registration portal on www.cvr.inecnigeria.org to pre-register online, book an appointment, and complete the process by walking into any Inec office nearest to them to capture their fingerprints and photographs. Please be informed that all those who pre-registered online during the first phase of the CVR can still complete their registration during the second phase. INEC state and local government area offices nationwide will also be open for persons who wish to register physically. Previously registered voters who wish to transfer their registration, apply for replacement of lost or damaged PVCs, or correct their personal information in the register of voters can do so within this period. This message is brought to you by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, making your vote count, consolidating our democracy.
Yeah, viewers, welcome back to the Good Morning Gombe show. With us still in the studio is the Resident Electoral Commissioner, Gombe State, Idris. The last time I asked you about those that have already registered coming to your office to collect their card or waiting behind the reception area to get their card. You did not specifically give an answer to that question. Are we guaranteeing that those that have already registered just wait behind in their areas for the collection of their cards?
Okay, let me just confirm that already. Only the registration areas where we are doing the rotation, the cards are usually carried along with the registration machine. So wherever we are devolving to the RA, and during registration, the cards for that RA is carried along by our staff. So when you go to your RA already, you will go and pick your card. So you don't even need to come to the local government office. You can go and collect once the registration at the RA level gets to your RA. So really, we have made life easier for people. We have carried them from the local government offices actually down to the grassroots. So you can wait. Once we are at your RA, you come. All the staff has all the cards. So you go and just give them your details and you collect your card. And I have just given you statistics to show that there is improvement in terms of collection. In fact, what I want to see is I will be much happier before the end of this exercise to see that I have distributed the entire 62,000. Right now, as we are talking, the 62,000 that we had from 2021, not more than 2,000 was collected. So you still have like 60,000. Yes, appreciable, because after level 1, after phase 1, only about 1,000 was collected. Now there's an additional 1,000 in the last 10 days or so. So when you compare it to the last ones collected, at least we have made some progress. But not as much as we want. I want the entire 62 cards to be distributed. Yeah, so that everybody really collects his own card. What we cannot do is we cannot give you somebody's card. That is, the law does not allow us to do that. If my wife or your cousin or your friend or your brother or sister registers, he is bound by law to come to our office and collect his or her card. So if some people will come, they say, okay, these are my neighbors or friends or cousins or in-laws or whatever, give us their cards. The law does not allow us to do that. We are bound to just give a card to the person who registered. If I am the person who registered, then nobody will collect my card for me, not even my wife, not even my wife. So I think people need to understand, don't go and send your friend or your cousin or your brother or your sister-in-law or somebody to collect your card. We will not give. We will not give them because we don't know what they are going to do with it.
Honorable Rex, sir. You talked about blind spot, and in your terminology, that is the Inec business. What blind spot simply means where there is no network.
Yeah.
Now, if I will get you correctly, recently, I want to believe you must be aware, issue that took place at the National Assembly, in semantics of language, transmission, and transfer. Now, the issue is not over yet. What brought about that uprising, and where are we now, based on that matter, as Gombawa referee, not election?
Ibrahim, I always tell you, I'm an academic. I don't speculate. I use facts. The issue of the specific aspects of the amendments that will happen to 2022 Electoral Act has not been concluded by National Assembly. You know, right now, discussions are ongoing. The National Assembly even held an emergency session just about 2 days ago.
Yes.
They have not concluded. There is no any finalized amendment which came out, which was approved by the Joint House and which was approved by the President. Nothing becomes law until the joint session of the National Assembly signed and said this thing is what we approve, and it becomes law. In fact, it does not become law until Mr. President even accents to the bill. So I am not for speculation. I would rather wait for the National Assembly to conclude their job. I am not a member of the National Assembly. I am a referee. I am an electoral umpire. Okay, my job is to deliver free, fair, and credible elections. We cannot amend our regulation and guidelines and develop and update our manuals until the National Assembly concludes on the review and approve the amended act. If they do, and the President accents to that, it becomes law, then you can speak about it. For now, that has not been concluded. I think it's going to be preposterous and it's going to be premature for me as an umpire. Look, I am not a member of the National Assembly. I'm an umpire. I work for the electoral management.
I agree with you as a
So I think I would not like to speak.
So let's do it this way.
Yes.
Let me land and finish, because I intend actually the barrel question, but I want it to be stage by stage programming on the program. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning. This blind spot.
Yes.
I want to believe you are permanent staff that you have as an Inec staff are aware of this law. That is, if there is no network in a particular agreement and acceptance of stakeholders to a different point where you get, but in the same local government. And in most cases, usually, I say hire or you bring people that might not be knowledgeable fully on this law during election. Now, do you, based on your timing of these 50 days and maybe some days before the election, because as it is now, we have only 9 or 8 months election. Now, is there a provision for such what do you call it, teaching and learning before you employ, before you get those ad hoc staff on board?
Okay, let me clarify. I want to be very clear. So far, both at the state, at the local government level, and at the RA, is entirely 100%. This issue is handled by our staff for now. Remember, we have trained staff before we commenced the exercise of CVR. Remember, during the CVR stakeholder, which I did before the commencement of the rotation, we also explained these modalities to stakeholders. The local government electoral officers that we have also conducted their own stakeholder and explained the modalities, including explaining what happens if we have a blind spot. Our local government officers they are veterans, the electoral officers. They know this job. They have been doing this job. So for now, if we are going to engage anybody, mostly what we engage is coppers. Then we will probably, if the exercise is going to be devolved to the PU level. Right now, it's not at the PU level. We don't know. It's actually the prerogative of the commission to devolve it from the state to local government and to RA. They have done that up to RA level now. This is phase 2. There will be phase 3. We don't know. I don't speculate. I will wait to see the decision taken by the commission on what will happen in phase 3. We don't know. If they devolve, eventually, in the wisdom of the commission, devolve this to any other level, perhaps maybe the PU level, then that time we can talk about it. Let's get to the bridge before we cross it. But if we are going to do that, of course the people who will engage with the NYSC, and we don't engage NYSC like that. Before we do, we will train them. Remember, I was director of training of the commission, and I was also DG of the Electoral Institute. 2-time DG. I'm responsible for training all the adult staff already. So we don't go into any activity without training. We train and retrain and give refresher training to even our staff before we do anything. So go to sleep. When we are going to involve anybody at any level, we are going to train the people. And mostly we do train coppers to help our CVR. But at the moment, we are not even involving anybody. We are involving 100% INEC staff, and they are properly trained. Thank you so much.
Yes, just a rider to that answer you just gave. I monitored the budget defense of the National Inec chairman, Mr. Peter, yesterday, and I have some reliable backup to what he just the answer I just gave to Brent. When he was defending the budget of 873.4 billion INEC budget used to be, he added some of these things he was saying. In his proposal, he said about 450,000 coppers who are going to be engaged in the next coming election. I get the breakdown of all their allowances. I said that there's going to be 5,000 training allowance for 2 days or so. That shows they are going to be properly trained before that. They just announced the question, and then you get the breakdown of what they are going to be paid on. So I think that will be an issue. And let's come back to the issue at hand now. Commissioner, 10 days down out of your 50 days blueprint, you are rolling out get the legislation going to be improved, and we've get some reliable achievement. Can you now? We still have 40 days to go. Yes. I want you now to roll out your plans, at least even for the next 10 days, to our audience, so that they'll get prepared where you'll be going to, so that they'll wait for you. I know you've been to Kamara Primary School, like you said, you've been to Billy, Bangaji, and the rest. What are your plans for the upcoming next 10 days? Have you asked listening to what we in line with your plans? And
okay, let me explain to you the way this thing works. In each local government, we have registration areas. I give you an example. When you go to Akko, we have Akko, we have Garko, we have Kalchini, we have Kashiri, we have I'm just giving you an example of some of the areas. In even RAs they are even coded. Each of these RA we have that you see. We know what we have codes for them. I'm giving you an example. We have Kumo Central, Kumo East, Kumo North, Kumo Pinduga, Tupulga. These are some of the local government registration areas we have. They are clearly coded. We have a proposed timetable which we shared at the state stakeholder. And our local government, when they meet their stakeholders, share this with stakeholders. For instance, at each RA, we will be there from so day to so day for those 3 days. And each of the RAs we have the RA address. For instance, take Akko for instance, Akko Primary School. There is an RA center. And all this information will be provided by the electoral officers, which have been provided actually to the stakeholders.
The daily time range.
So the thing is, if they are, for instance, in Kamara Primary School, from February 2nd, they will be in Kamara Primary School RA from February 2nd plus 5 days.
Okay.
So they will leave Kamara Primary School 7th, for instance. Then move to another RA. So I tell my electoral officers to keep engaging. Even when we share the schedule and the timetable with the communities and with the stakeholders, before we move from one RA to the other, usually the RAs are within the same local government. I will explain something which people don't understand. If I am in this RA, and for whatever reason in that 5 days, I even miss the registration in that particular RA, I can actually go to the nearest RA and actually register. Because in any case, even if I think it's far away from my own house, I can register and even transfer it back to where I live. So in any case, people have to understand that there is no issues in this. In fact, you can register here in Gombe, in our state office or in any local government office.
Talking about transfer, is that application going on now?
Of course.
Transferring.
I'm moving to another local government or another RA. In fact, indeed another PU. Let me tell you about transfer. When I went around to do the Akko and the rest, I told people, I engaged all the people that were doing registration. I asked some of them. Physically, I would go and ask you, what are you doing here? Some of them will say, no, I come to transfer this from this. Some will say, I came to correct any name or address or something. I said, then why are you here? What are you doing? They didn't listen to me. I said, if you have an Android phone, you can do that at home, in the comfort of your bed, or in your apartment. You can do it on your bed with your Android phone. You don't need to come to us. So I
don't have Android.
Even if I don't have an Android phone, that is where my suggestion, when I was going around, I suggested to communities, I suggested to stakeholders that look, this is a collective responsibility. This is a community service for everybody. There is nothing wrong in you, in this particular area, mobilizing youths who are usually computer savvy. Mobilize, get 5 youths or 10 who use computer, who have an Android phone, to help with transfers and corrections in your community. You cannot help your community in doing all the online issues. You will reduce the number of people queuing up. So you can get a place for them. Go and do this. Tell them that you don't need to go to any local government. We can do it for you. In fact, I told my staff that if anybody comes with his Android phone to say that I want to do it but I don't know how to do it, please take him through. In fact, if people come as a team to say that we want you to explain how the online transfer or correction goes, I told my staff, take time to explain to them. If you explain to them, you will probably go and help 10 people or 20 or 30 or 50 to do it. They will leave the queue. In fact, when we went to yesterday, I was even going to leave the queue. I said, you don't need to come and queue. Just go. Do it on your Android phone. Some of them will tell me, I don't have Android phone. I say, okay, no problem. If you are a father, your son has an Android, you can do it for you. It's not registration you are doing, you are doing transfer. You are doing correction. And this can be done in the comfort of your home, in your house. Whatever you applied for, whether transfer or correction, it will reflect in our database. By the time it comes, at the point at which you need to come to us, it's only when you want to come and collect your PVC. But the only time that you need to come to either state office or local government or RA level is Please, if you go online pre-registration and you want to complete, remember I said it last time, if you do online registration and you didn't conclude the process for those who did not register before, isn't it? So when you do even in the comfort of your house, you need pre-registration, not transfer. Let me be very clear, not transfer, not correction. If you do pre-registration at home or anywhere or in the cafe, this is online. You can do it anywhere. You know, you can sit down here during your off time and do whatever you want to do on your phone. You need to go to the Inec office at the state LG or RA level or at ward level to conclude. You know, you need to take your biometrics, fingerprints. You need to take your facials. Without that, it's not completed. So if I do registration in my house, pre-registration online, and I sat down in my house thinking that you haven't done. Okay. As long as you did not register before, but if you register, I will repeat this. Please and please, if you register before, from 2011 your card is valid. There is nothing like Salmon Tower. 2011 card is valid for election in 2027. Don't register again. It's even criminal. It's even against the law to do double registration.
Yes. Thank you very much, viewers. Sarge Umar Idris, Resident Inec Electoral Commissioner, Gombe State. That is the much we can take for now. This English session. Please stand by for the outside session if you don't go away.